everyone. So on today's session, we are going to talk about 50 shades of PR. We are going to understand what are the major blockers we are currently experiencing in the industry and hopefully how to overcome them. But before starting, I'm going to shortly introduce myself. My name is Avishag. All my friends call me Vishy. And actually, I am working in the industry for almost 10 years. And for the past 3 years, I need to correct it, but for the past 3 years, I'm working for LeadDev. I work as a team leader, and I have a lot of fun there. English is not my first language, and since it's very late, we're going to do something special. I'm going to promise you to make it a very clear session for you, and I promise that you will learn something new. But you need to promise me that you will be super focused because I have a lot to cover but not a lot of time. So without further ado, we're going to start with a short introduction of the common delivery cycle. Now, what's the common delivery cycle? This is the process that the typical developer in your organization will face upon almost every task they will get. Now, it actually starts long before the code itself. It starts with a task that they are getting. They are doing some tech design, they are planning it, they are doing some tasks breakdown, and they are ready to execute it. Now, the fun part is the first part, the code part, the one part that we are all really experts in. Which usually will take time according to the scope of the task. And after that, they are done with the code, and they will move forward for the PR. PR stands for pull requests. We all heard about it in a couple of sessions here. Sometimes we use merge requests. It really depends on the provider that we are using. And of course, because we have superstars in our team, they will get approved right away, and they will be able to merge their pull request. After that, they will be able to do some integration of the code with the rest of the system. Now, this is a tricky part because many companies have integration before the merge, while other companies will have it after the merge. And for example, in my company, we have integration both before the merge and after the merge. So this is a tricky one, but at the end, we'll all face it at one point. And the happy part of this process will be the deployment to production. This is the first time the code meets production. And basically, all of those steps, combination, are building our common delivery process. Now, I know not all of the companies share the same process, but this is the most common one. And all of that stands for the cycle. Now, why it's a cycle? Because this is something that our developers will meet again and again and again. And basically, this is something that they will face even a few times during their day. Now, our job as leaders is one, to make sure this cycle is super efficient, especially during those times that we are living in. And second, we want this cycle to be very, very short for them. This cycle time should be short. And why is that? Efficiency. We need it to be super efficient, as I mentioned, because of the times that we are living in, and we just basically want them to be efficient and happy doing what they are doing. Second, we want this to be short because short cycle times has been proven to be indicators for healthy pipeline and also happy developers in general. And it also indicates that you are performing really, really well. Now, the question is, how can we speed up the cycle? The most, I would say, intuitive way and also like the technical way to do that will be the automation approach. Now, if we want to target the last part of the process, we will most of the time we'll have CI and CD already integrated in our pipeline. Now, CI stands for continuous integration, while CD stands for continuous deployment. We all take those for granted, but even me, back in the history, in dark times, I had to copy DLL files from my local machine to the production service. Now, I can tell you that CI/CD tools are kind of revolutionary, even though, again, we are taking them for granted. So tools like Jenkins, Circle CI, GitHub Actions, Drone, they are adding major boost to the speed. Now, on the other hand, on the first part of our pipeline here, we can see, especially during the past 2 years, that we were exposed to tools like ChatGPT, like GitHub Copilot. We saw major boost in this part of the process as well. Now, this is if we are using it in the right way and we are not abusing it, those tools can assist us with increasing our cycle speed. So basically, I'm going to say, integrate those kind of tools in your pipeline and you are done. Yay. But the question is, can we boost it even more? In LinearB, my company, we are experts in optimizing our customers' cycle time. And we have to do research every quarter in order to understand and realize which part of the cycle time takes the most time out of it. And every time we see the same results out of a lot of data, as you can see the numbers right there, we see again and again that your code is getting stuck in the PR. Actually, the PR is the longest part out of all of the process. Not only it's the longest part, it takes the time of it takes 2/3 out of the whole cycle time, which is major. Now, I'm not sure who here works in big corporate, but when you think about it in scale, we are talking about huge numbers. We are talking about huge money. Now, we can for sure mark those steps as the major blocker the industry is now facing. And we want to find somehow a way to overcome them. Now, short explanation why this is happening. Now, the PR is not a step that stands by itself. It's a combination of 2 steps most of the time, 2 steps. 1, pickup time. Pickup time is the moment that the developer actually submitted the PR to a review, and now the PR basically sits to get picked by someone from the team and to start the review. Now, this is many times takes a lot of time because of communication and because of many, many reasons that you all probably can think about. People that are not always attending to work and some other reasons as well. The review time is usually, obviously, your developers are not spending 5 days reviewing someone else's code, but review time in the happy path will be very short and will be done quickly. But in most of the cases, which are not the happy path, the review consists a lot of cycles and a lot of refinement. It depends on the seniority of the developers. It depends on many, many factors. Now, both steps are consisting what we call a lot of idle time. This idle time is very, very expensive. Now, we cannot avoid review. We cannot avoid that. And it's totally healthy and fine thing to do. But it's also very risky. Now, why is that? From your reviewer point of view, PR, the emoji is deleted. Okay, the overwhelming effect is once we getting the PR for a review. We were not expecting to have this task in the middle of our day. And your developers, your reviewers that are acting as developers as well, they're getting overwhelmed out of it because they don't know what the PR is hiding behind it. So this is the one thing that we need to keep in mind. The second thing will be, as I assume we are all here with some background in computer science, is the context switch. Context switch is the most expensive thing that we are now suffering from in our industry. And in general, the review process by itself is pretty annoying. So the question now that I'm asking here, and we all need to start to think about, are all PRs justifying the same review process? Are all PRs worth your developers' attention? This is just a question. Now, the fact is that there are multiple and many kinds of PR that your developers are reviewing and developing on their daily basis. We have feature PRs, from hotfixes to bugs, refactor, docs, tests, experimentals, dependencies, releases, and so on and so on. So many kinds of PRs. Even for feature PRs, we have big features, we have small features, we have many kind of properties for each kind of them. We have many, many categories. Now, the real question here is, maybe there is a way to differentiate between every kind of PR. And the next thing that I wonder is this maybe can be automated. After all, we are here for technology. We love it. Obviously, as I mentioned, we cannot dismiss reviews from at once. But maybe an automated assistant could be added to the process. Now, the answer is yes. Yes, not all the PRs are the same. Yes, your developers treat them the same, even though they're not the same. And yes, we can add automation to it in order to cover all of the process and make it perfect. And this is where you need to start to take your notes, the CM approach. The CM approach will finish and cover all of your pipeline automation, and it will only be there to assist your developers in order to boost up their cycle and to be more efficient. Now, CM stands for continuous merge. It refers to pull requests and how to boost up merges in an automated way. Every PR is automatically given a unique merge route. One example and one way to think about it is maybe to categorize it between risks of PR, right? Small PRs, for example, that consist only minor changes, typo changes, README file changes, image changes, maybe they will be in lower risk, while other PRs that are much more complex, much more bigger PRs, for example, they might be in a higher risk and they will need more attention from your team. It's just something to think about. Other ways to integrate it will be to add automatically context to the PR. Dynamic restrictions can be added in an automated way to your PR. Dynamic code owners, those can all assist you in increasing and boost up your cycle time. Now, the good news that you can start today. You can start integrating today. It can easily be done by many, many ways. I can tell you personally all about it and how I was managed to boost up my team's cycle time just using a CM approach. And basically, I encourage you all to look for it and start to integrate it. This is the future from my point of view, and I think you learned something new. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, reach out.